Whenever we are working on any particular project, we get such a kind of requirement where we have to show the top 10 best performers of the organization, or top 10 best sales, or top 10 best products, or top 10 best profits. So this is a scenario. So for this kind of scenario, what is the probable outcome that you would like to show it to your client or customer? That is the first step. Now let me ask you one another question. Your client has given you a data in Excel sheet, or if your team is getting the data from one data source, and when you are from another team and the same Power BI file is shared with you, and now you would have to get the access of this particular data to perform some sort of transformations. But there is a data source settings which is getting an obstacle in between, which is making you to not do any sort of transformations, because the data source that they have extracted it from their local machine. But that particular Power BI application, when it is coming to your computer, the particular application's location is getting changed. So at this particular moment, what kind of step are you going to take? Hi, I'm M. Asif Hussain from KnowHow Academy. What are we going to learn in this video? We are going to learn and understand how to change the data source settings in Power Query Editor in Power BI. We are even going to learn how to show top 10 sales or top 10 profit in Power BI. So let's work on it. Here I have a data and I have come up here into Power Query Editor. In Power Query Editor, we can see we have two queries. One is orders query and we have a data query. So let me just refresh it. My dear viewers, if we carefully observe, so these are the two data sources that I have got up into my Power Query Editor. So now let me consider that I have to share this particular Power Query Editor or this particular Power BI applications after I have done some sort of transformations here in Power Query Editor. I need to give it to my colleague who is in some other XYZ team, or who is a colleague in some another project. So the point here is that I can share the Power BI application, that's not a problem. But that XYZ employee, if he or she wants to do some sort of changes, then they will get some trouble into it. What is that? That is nothing but the data source settings, as it is not equal to what exactly I have used it. They could not able to do the transformations in Power Query Editor. So the reason is that the location where this particular file or this data is in my computer, it might not be in the same place, in the same folder, in the same location in their system. So that's where the clash comes here. So I am talking about this scenario from an import mode perspective. But when we are getting these kind of data from a direct query mode, or from any cloud application, or from any database, or from any web application, then what's happening here is that the credentials, the username, the server name, what I have, they might not have the same username. They might not have the same server name. So what they have to do, they have to change the data source settings to get the desired result. So how to change the data source settings in Power Query Editor? So let's look into it. Now what I'm going to do, I have something called as data source settings here. So let me click on this data source settings. So as soon as I click on this data source settings, we can see that there are two data sets that I have. One is Amazon's data, another one is product data. Now there are two types of possibilities that we can do it here. Either you can change the source settings, or we can edit the permissions to the user. So these are the two possibilities that can happen. So now when I click on this change source, now I have to give the source that I'm having in my computer. So for example, the file path that I have bought this particular data set is in OneDrive, in documents folder, in Power BI training, under Power BI training. I have this particular location, and that's my location in my local machine. But another employee from another department or in another project, if they would like to have the access to this one, so what should they do? So the very important thing that we have to focus is on whether are they having the same data set in their location, because most of the times what will happen is that in every organization that we are working, they will be having a common folder. Every employee's computers or every employee's local machine will have a common folder. For example, there are 4 people in a team in a project, then 4 people will be having a same common folder, so anyone can go and do the changes in that particular folder. Now the folder location is same in every particular system, so that's where we can use it very freely. Alright, so that kind of possibilities will work when you are stuck up with this kind of problems. So now I would like to choose the particular file path that I have in my computer, and I would like to open this file as if it is an Excel sheet or a JSON file or PDF or whatever it is. So finally I have to click on OK. So that's where that is one possibility. And the other possibility that I would like to talk about, that is edit permission. If I would like to edit the permission, so for example, this particular data set that I have from Amazon data, if I would like to give the access to the whole organization and everyone in my particular organization with what credentials I have logged in into Power BI, so every particular person in that organization can have the access to this data. So that's where it's organizational level. Now private is something which is up to you, and public is something which is that we can give it as assign it as a public, and it will go in across everywhere, wherever and whoever accessing Power BI. So that's where there are two possibilities that we can go and change the data source in our Power Query editor in Power BI. So once we change the data source, if once everything is clear, then we can go and work on the transformations as per the requirements that client has or her requested. So now, my dear viewers, so that's where we need to focus on how we have to go with the data source settings, how we have to change it in Power Query editor. All right. So we have learned one interesting concept. Now let's move on to the next important point, that how to show the top 10 or top 5 or top 6 sales or profit or revenue in Power BI. So for that, let me just go on into a Power BI desktop. So here what I have a data. So from this data, I have selected a table chart, and in this table chart, I have considered two particular columns, which is customer column and list price column. So these are the two columns that I have. Now, if you want, we can even add few more columns. It purely depends upon the requirement. So let me even choose unit price as well for in an easy and better understanding. All right. So as we can see that there are n number of customers in my particular table. So, but there is a requirement that I would like to see, or my customer would like to see, who has done the top 10, or who are my top 10 best customers, or top 5 best customers, or bottom 10 best customers, or bottom 5 best customers, or whatever might be the number. So how should we do that? To do that, we need to come here into filters. There are 3 types of filters available in Power BI. So we have visual level filter, which is to a particular visual. We have a page level filter, which is to a particular page. A report level filter to every page in our Power BI desktop. It's like a report view. All right. So now, as we can see that we have something called as customers here. So now in this customers, as I would like to see the top 10 customers, so what I'll do, I'll just click on filter type and I'll go with the top N. I'll click on top N. Okay, you can apply only one top N. So if I have applied any one top N, I can remove it. Okay, so let me remove this one. All right, so I can go here and I will select top N. So as soon as I select top N, it is asking me whether you would like to go with the top or you would like to go with the bottom N. So now top, how many customers you would like to see? You would like to see only top 10 customers. On what basis? On the basis of the list price. If I would like to consider that, you have to drag it and get it in a value. So now if you apply filter, we will get only the top 10 customers based upon the list price. But if you would like to get on based upon the unit price, again that's a different perspective. Based upon the unit price, who are the top 10 customers, those we are going to get it. In the same way, if you would like to go with the bottom 10 customers, so I'll go with the bottom 10 and I will apply the filter. I'll get all the bottom 10 customers. And the N that it is representing here is the number. Whether you would like to take top 1, top 2, top 3, top 10, top 15, top 100, it's up to you. In the same way, bottom 10, bottom 7, bottom 5, bottom 1, okay, bottom 15, bottom 100, it's up to you. But showing top N or showing bottom N particular details is dependable upon the client's requirement. On what basis they are going to ask us, whether they are going to show top 10 best revenue, top 10 sales, or top 10 products, or top 10 categories, top 10 states, top 10 cities where we got the best profit, sales, revenue. That depends upon the requirement that we have. So this is how we have to use TopN and BottomN in Power BI Desktop. So my dear viewers, in this video, we have learned how to change the data source settings in Power Query Editor in Power BI Desktop. We have seen what are the different types of filters we have in Power BI. And we also seen what is and how to do the top 10 and bottom 10 sales, list price, unit price, profit in Power BI Desktop. So thank you for choosing Know Academy as your source for IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate the tech world. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.